Hi there and welcome back to Jay's Toy Collection UK for more action figure breaking news. And it's got to be said for the first time this year, Yo Joe! Yes, so it was the Hasbro G.I. Joe live stream today on the 18th of March. I think we should have had it on the 18th of February, so they were a whole month late with this one. And my goodness, have they dropped a lot of pre-orders? Nearly £300 of pre-orders have literally just gone live. So before we get into that, if you could hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you are pre-ordering. If you haven't done it yet, why not consider joining the channel membership? But yes, as I say, they were back. The G.I. Joe team were back with lots of G.I. Joe stuff to get into. So without further ado, let's head over to histank.com. We will start off with, we'll go to Preternia as well, and to Hasbro Pulse, because by the time I film this, it is past 1 p.m. Eastern time, so the pre-orders have gone live. I was going to get up a bit quicker, but Cheeky Monkey's tumble dryer broke, so we had to have an engineer over. So I was talking to him about He-Man and Thundercats for some reason, so that's happened. But here I am, and there are Lenny, Tony, and Emily in full sort of dreadnought cold sliver garb, because they were showing off the 4-pack for San Diego Comic-Con. So we have discussed this on the previous episode of This Week in Toys, where we went through this, because this was shown, the cold sliver band from the 80s. Cannot wait to get this set. Really looking forward to this. I love a bit of 80s, sort of hair metal, and I do like the Dreadnought. So I think this is going to be a really fun set to get. Again, going up at San Diego Comic-Con, but they did give us a tease right at the end of the stream, so we will actually go down to that and actually start off with the tease, because Emily said there wouldn't be a tease, but there was, because they showed Zartan then. So this is the first time we're actually seeing one of the figures from the box set, rather than just seeing a render. So there is Zartan from the box set, and yeah, he looks pretty good, doesn't he? He does look a bit shiny on the chest, a bit, but maybe sweating from all the music that they're playing. Again, we don't know the price on this one. 4 figures, a lot of instruments. I'm going to guess at least 120, 125, I would guess, is what this is going to be for San Diego Comic-Con. So we will wait and we will see as that happens. But we will go through effectively what we saw on the stream today. So they kicked us off like that, and then they went through stuff, but effectively it was now shown at New York Toy Fair. So I suppose they would have shown us some of these figures on the live stream first in February, then we'd have seen maybe more at New York Toy Fair. But of course, they've done it the other way round. So we start off then with the Frag Viper himself, all clad in orange and blue, and with sort of like a robotic face underneath the traditional sort of mask they've gone for on the figure. So they took us through some of the render shots, but of course the first time they were actually showing the figure product in hand. So we can have a look here at the figure on the table. So I would like a Frag Viper, so this is one I will be picking up. So in the comment section, as we go through, just start typing away and let me know in the comments what you'll be picking up from these G.I. Joe reveals. I've still got a lot of backtracking to do when it comes to the G.I. Joe Classified. The most recent wave I haven't picked up at all. There's been far too many other toy lines, and with G.I. Joe sort of being delayed and taking a little bit of a scale back, it's not one I've been picking up literally day one, as I was previously doing on G.I. Joe, because some of these have been going into the sales. So as Marvel Legends seem to become harder to get in the UK, Pulse exclusive for the G.I. Joe stuff over here, but some of the independents still do import them in. So I'm kind of waiting out on some of these shows. So I'm not going to be sort of day one pre-ordering, because it hasn't been selling out as much as it used to. So let me know again in the comments, are you still pre-ordering day one for G.I. Joe? Now, talk about pre-ordering day one. I suppose we can jump straight over to Pulse, though, as we go through each of the figures. And you can see the actual pre-order. So, of course, Jay's Toy Collection UK. I'm in the UK, so we are using Pulse UK rather than US. I'm sure it's a bit of a different market over there, where things will sell out probably much faster than they do within the UK market. But number 153 in the line, there is the Frag Viper. It's up now, so it's a standard G.I. Joe Hasbro price of $24.99 when it comes to the Frag Viper then. So we'll go on to the next figure that was revealed, which was again Blowtorch. So again, these have been shown renders previously, but we're going to look at the figure for the first time in hand. So not quite as bright as the original figure from the 1980s. They sort of muted the colours down. I sip from the Spider-Man cup. But I always wondered with Blowtorch, why did the G.I. Joe team need a guy with a flamethrower? What, shouldn't they have a firefighter or somebody to put out the fires, not somebody to create the fire? So a bit confused by this character and what his actual use is. So anybody, let me know. Why do I need a chap with a flamethrower? Can't see him saving a lot of lives when it comes to a flamethrower. But it's such a random character. I think this is definitely one I will be picking up. So we're 2 for 2 so far in terms of what I'm picking up from the line then. So that is Blowtorch. And again, if I head back over to Pulse, we can see the actual pre-order itself for Blowtorch. And again, not a deluxe, so again, a standard figure there at $24.99 when it's coming in from Hasbro Pulse for Blowtorch. So he was number 3 from the wave. We will then move on again, and then the next one up, I believe, is one of Destro's good old buddies and chums. It's Darkland coming up next, and again, a bit of a controversy, I think they've said, with his design on this one. I'm vibrating in the background. So this has happened once again. This is Cheeky Monkey on the phone, so we'll see what she has to say now. Hello, Cheeky Monkey. You are live on YouTube. How are you doing, dear?
What are you doing live stream? Yeah.
Well, yes, because your engineer delayed me, I am now far behind recording the G.I. Joe videos. So say hello and goodbye to the audience, dear.
Okay, goodbye.
That was Cheeky Monkey live cameo. We'll see we don't even know what she wanted. We'll find out soon, won't we? So let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming. So you've missed Cheeky Monkey on the channel. You've just seen her then. So you've got a couple of mask options. I'll be getting in trouble for hanging up on her when she gets back, but at least this is recorded. I've got evidence. So there we are then. So there he is in person. A bit of a weird one for me, this. I say I'm not familiar with the character, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, he looks I don't know, it's a weird design. It almost seems like it fit in with these sort of Tiger Force figures, really, in terms of the color schemes they've gone for here. So not one I've got an inkling to pick up straight away when it comes to any sort of pre-ordering process. And again, if we go back over to Pulse, you'll see he is up here again. And he's number 155 in the line. And again, is a $24.99 standard priced figure. Right, we get through and we go on to our next one. Who was up next? I only watched it an hour ago. Can I even remember? So we will go back over to here and we will see who we have up next. And up next within the line, of course, gotta cut loose. It's Footloose. Footloose then in the G.I. Joe classified line with rocking another classic 80s trope, the mustache. Could I work the mustache? Let me know in the comments below. But I do like the mustache on this one, and you've got the sort of the webbing on the helmet as well, and you can see that a bit better when we get to the actual in-person images with the camouflage. So again, a classic G.I. Joe character from the earlier waves of the original toy line. So one I will be looking to pick up. But again, I'm going to try and not pre-order everything today because I may have been a dragon purchase for fans of Mythic Legions. That may have happened today. I'll have to do some more coverage on that. But the budget could be a little low this month because of that. So there is Footloose then from G.I. Joe Classified. Again, you've got all the accessories with him, as you can see there. A little bit of a shark or something on the bazooka sort of cannon thing he comes with again. Again, if we head over to Pulse, as we've been doing so far, this one again is up for pre-order now. So I would have been saying it would have been up at 1 p.m. Eastern, but they are already up because as I'm filming this, it is just after 1 p.m. Eastern. Because there is number 156 in a line. Again, the standard price figure, and that is Footloose. So that was it for the regular figures in the wave. Now, before we get into the rest of the figures and more deluxe offerings, we just head back to the start of the live stream. We can see here, we head back over to histotank.com, we can see a render reveal then. So we did have render reveals as well as teases and the stuff that was going up for pre-order today. And it's what the figure I think Lenny said was literally his legitimate favorite in the entire original line is Snake Eyes version 4. Now, this is not a version of Snake Eyes I'm familiar with, so this would have definitely been much later in the line rather than the other colours we've seen of Snake Eyes. He's got all sorts of garb they've added to him. Is that blood on his swords, or have they just got some different paint effects going on there? So, Snake Eyes version 4. I've got a lot of Snake Eyes. This is a very much different design, so it probably will eventually pick up, but it hasn't got me overly excited seeing that particular version. But again, I've got no sort of attachment to it. So if you have attachment to Snake Eyes version 4, just looks a bit weird. What am I missing? As we go over to, I believe, the deluxe release then. So it's the MMS and Hawk. So this is Hawk before his military career advanced, I'm assuming, or he was general. He was just in the army, was he? I don't know. Somebody tell me in the comments below regards to the G.I. Joe lore we got here for this younger version of Hawk. Now, straight away, we got a lot of basically reuse here, haven't we? I believe we've already had this out for the His Tank. I haven't actually picked it up yet. More purchases I need to do. I said I need to backtrack some G.I. Joes. I don't actually have the accessory for that. So you've got the rockets on there, which I have seen this in person, the Cobra version at least. And this is much bigger than I thought it would be. And now we're getting the G.I. Joe version they said could attach to the back of the Vamp, I do believe. They said you could put this on and you've got, well, let's say if you've got the Cobra version, you know exactly what you're expecting. That's the one thing we've classified. I suppose it's just recreating the original line where you would have basically both colorways. I'm trying not to collect every single thing in both colorways. So I've got to decide, is this going to be G.I. Joe only for me in my lore, or is it just going to be Cobra? Because obviously I haven't picked up either version, so maybe I'll just get one of them rather than sort of going for both of them, just to keep the... so it doesn't just look like you've literally got two opposite opposing displays, but I suppose that could look quite nice, having two literal opposing displays, but I'm buying the same thing twice in different colours, which I'm trying not to do. But here we are then. Now, and this is much, much anticipated. Shout out Mark Tac Tac, because I know he's probably absolutely chomping at the bit to get some of these, because this is finally a green shirt, a generic green shirt in the G.I. Joe classified line. So they said this is going to be part of a retro wave. It's going to be a 2-figure retro wave because it's an army building retro wave. So you've got your 2 different skin tones effectively. So you can build your G.I. Joes to your heart's content. You could have 20 of these on the shelf and it would look pretty good. Maybe some different head options would help. To say you've got your 2 head options there. But if you are going to have, I could see some people going crazy with this and getting absolutely loads of the things. You might want to, again, swap on some different Joe heads as well. But you've got what you'd expect to see, a couple of rifles there, gun, the knife, your hands, and your helmet. So I'll be in... at least, I don't know, I don't try and go too deep. How many are you getting? Again, in the comments below. I'll go for 2, probably. I'll just have 1 of each skin tone and maybe use them more as individual characters, backing up one of the main G.I. Joe characters. And yes, of course, they go on a heavy discount. Then you could go deep into these because these can at least be £25 releases. So I don't want to go too far. I've gone quite hard into my Clone Trooper army building behind me, but that was when they reduced down. So again, I won't go in too hard. That sounds very weird, doesn't it? I'm making myself laugh here. I won't go in too hard when it comes straight away, but I guess that sounds even worse. Full of innuendos here. Again, subscribe if you're new to the channel. This is what it's like as I ramble over 20 years of action figure collecting. I'll get a couple at least, but maybe I'll go a bit further. We'll see if they get reduced, but in for 2. And then we have one, I don't know, this is a little annoying, this one to me, because this is the classic colors of the bat, much brighter. I like it because I like the bat, but I've already got a couple of the other version and I don't have to keep army building the same things again. So I think maybe if I'd have known they would have gone all these retros all these years ago, maybe I wouldn't have collected the more modern versions and just gone for the retro things because I prefer the sort of brighter colors, the retro look of the figures. But now I've got the other versions, the bats, with the more orangey color of the boot. I don't really want to go in for a load of classic ones as well. So if you do want to go in for these, then it should be easy enough to army build. You've got loads of accessories. These bats are really, really good when it comes to G.I. Joe classified lines. So they're an easy army build if you want to. But that is another thing that's coming on the retro card. So at least one I can save on there. And there's a closer look again, as we said, at the Cold Sliver. So that was your reveals at the start of the stream. Then we went through the main line figures, but now we are going to the 2-pack, I do believe. Quite an anticipated 2-pack here, because of course it is Law and Order. So one thing Classified do really well is your sort of animal companions. And this is another one that just looks really, really good, especially when we get to these images here of the in-hand shots. Look at that. They do dogs really well. One thing you can give it to Hasbro, you get a decent articulated canine. So you've got the happy face, the little wagging tongue, and you've got the sort of I'm about to bite you face where he's been sort of set off. They said the vest is fully shuttable there, and the little walkie-talkie radio does attach and then come off into the hand as well. And apparently authentic dog calling hand positions as well. You can get with this figure, and again, it is already up for pre-orders. This is one I probably will pre-order just in case. So let me go back over to Pulse here. How much is this one going to be then? So, as I said, quite a lot for pre-order. Over £275 worth, I think, today. Just less than $300. It's kind of worked out at, and oh, there it is, $44.99. So not too bad. Well, this is kind of what you expect for the price point on the sort of animal companion packs. I thought it might have been $49.99, but it is $44.99 on Pulse. Say other UK independents may have it at slightly different prices. But there is a sort of Christopher Law Levine and Order. So Law and Order, one I would definitely be in on. Probably my most excited one, I think, for the day, I would say would be Law and Order. So definitely in for that. I do like some of the other packs we have with the animals. And finally, for two packs, we have this one then. We have the yellow and we have the red scuba diver. So going back to the original mass device from the Sunbow cartoon days, you've got your yellow mustard. Effectively, they were saying it kind of what I thought it is kind of a tribute to ketchup and mustard. They said it wasn't from the Sky Striker HasLab. Your red Cobra, your yellow for GI Joe, and then your sort of water element from the mass device. Now we're not going to. They said this is the last one of this year at least for this mass device program, so we're not going to get an actual mass device, which I was kind of sort of low-key hoping we would get, but clearly we are not. So this is another 2-pack. Again, just reusing your previous scuba diver figures. They are pretty decent figures, these scuba divers. I've got mine sort of swimming up the wall, and you've got your extra attachments there. And this one, I don't actually know how much it is. So let me go and actually check that on Pulse, because I'm sure the pre-order is up, and we'll let you know. So this is more than your animal pack then. So this one is £55.99 in the UK. So £56 for this one. So I do like the piece of the mass device, but I'm not going to be a day one pre-order on this of $56.99. Hoping it may be coming more to $49.99 price point. And again, let me know your US price points down below. Our UK ones, we sometimes get a little bit of the shaft when it comes to the currency conversion here. So that is your 2-pack there for your divers. But again, nice bright colours to go on the display. And then they saved the biggest thing for last in terms of items that have gone up for pre-order. But we'll just cover the teasers, shall we, first of all, the name-only reveals that they kind of did at the end. So the name-only reveals, here we have Battle Armour Cobra Commander. So this is a design I've quite frankly never seen before. So it looks kind of fun. So you can see his actual face in this. So again, must be in the original line somewhere. Again, I've been learning G.I. Joe as it comes through the modern toy lines and going back on YouTube and watching the Sunbow cartoons. So I've not seen this design yet, but I'm intrigued. I do like me a bit of Cobra Commander, so I definitely think I'll be, let's say, intrigued to see what this actually comes out to look like. And then we've got Monkey Wrench then. So there is Monkey Wrench as another reveal. And again, your classic sort of Treadnocky style design there. Classic 80s, so he'll be one I'll be in for. Definitely be getting one of those. And then Major Blood. So it looks a very modern looking Major Blood. So they said judged, I believe was the word Lenny used when it came to Major Blood. So a judged version of Major Blood. So again, if it's a bit modernish, probably one I will pass on. But the final thing they revealed then is the big mech suit. So let's get to that and show you what we've got here for the big mech suit. So we get up to the images here, and we'll see Lenny on the table as he looks rather happy with himself looking at the big mech suit. So this is the System Neutralizer Armored Cloaking Equipment, or the Cobra Snake. is what we have here then. So effectively a massive mech suit for your Cobra troopers or anybody of your Cobra faction. Now, I'll be honest with you, I am not a fan of mechs. Lego seem to love mechs. Everything is mechs. I don't know. I just don't, not into my mechs. But I kind of like this. I think this does look kind of fun. And the fact you can actually, they did show it and confirm you can get a 6-inch action figure in this and it will shut. So your snake armor brought into modern collecting. Have we got those images there with the figures in? Yep, there we go. So we go there from some of the actual product shots with the figure in, and you can see Lenny and Emily there on the table, showing you that you could actually, the ladder you can climb up, which I think is a cool touch. Maybe I'd have this displayed open, somebody climbing into it. You could army build these to your heart's content. And loads of accessories as well, wasn't it? You can change the hands, little video readout there in there. Of course, probably just a sticker. But the fact you can actually fit a figure in, I think, is pretty cool about this. But as soon as I watched it, I thought, how much is this going to be? Emily was saying no figures to keep the price down. So I was thinking, what is this, 100? Is this going to be 99.99? Maybe 75? I saw some people guessing in some of our group chats in the 50s and 60s. I was thinking somewhere 75 to 100, and we have the reveal though. So we go over to Pulse, at least in the UK, this is 75.99, so £76. So it is coming in on the more pricey side, I think, of what people were guessing for this one. So again, it may not be a day one pre-order for me just because of that, because if you pre-order everything, I think everything today, if you pre-order, comes to around £277 from my quick maths. So well over sort of $300 range is where we would where we'd be for all of today's pre-orders, and I've not done all of the previous pre-orders yet. So they haven't hit us with a lot this year for G.I. Joe Classified, but they have decided to do it effectively all at once. So loads of pre-orders have gone up today. So are you getting this? Again, in those comment sections, let me know. I think I would like one of these on the shelf. I might hold off and see if it ever gets a bit of a reduction. But if you want to army build these, you're already at over 150 if you go for a pair of these things to actually army build. So we go back to the main Pulse page as we wrap up them. As I've probably been waffling on for, yes, over 20 minutes, waffling on about G.I. Joe. So we'll just summarize what we've got in terms of today's pre-order then. So you've got the Divers 2-pack, you've got your Snake Armor mech suit, you've got Blowtorch, you've got the Frag Viper, you've got Darkland, you've got Footloose, and then you've got Law and Order, as I say, coming in all in at about £277. And recently they have just something I haven't covered on the channel is Crystal Ball then. So the Mystic of the Dreadnoks, he looks a fun figure. I thought he would be a deluxe with all the translucent accessories and everything, but he isn't. He's still available for pre-order on Pulse at $24.99. So I do need to pick one of him up. And then we had, again, the recent card backs of Flint and CoverGirl. Need to pick me up a CoverGirl there. And Snake Eyes, then the Polar Bear. And then we had the... God, we're going to go well over the sort of £500 mark if you go for everything here over the course of the last month from G.I. Joe. So over £500 probably on Joe's here. But I do want the Polar Bear and the cartoon version of Snake Eyes again. I think I've particularly covered this a lot on the channel. So that Polar Bear looks a great bit of fun. So I do need to get an order in for one of those. But that was your March reveals then for G.I. Joe Classified. An absolute bucket ton of them, and you're going to be very poor if you pre-order everything. So let me know what you're getting in the comments below. But I think we'll wrap it up here, and I'm going to go to return Cheeky Monkey's phone call before she throws me out of the house. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Jay. This has been Jay's Toy Collection UK, and I will, of course, see you on the next video.